It's the new year, but 2012 brings Centerville's Party Caucus. Members from the Republican Party came to sign up, and the Democratic Party is signing in. The race is on to see who's going to win. For those of you who have never been to a caucus, Bob Thomas explains.
Okay, the first part is out in the hallway where you have to sign in and show that you're a Democrat and registered. If not, you need to get registered. And then the three purposes of a caucus. One is to select delegates to go on to a county convention, which will select delegates to go on to a district convention, to elect delegates to go to a state convention, to eventually elect delegates to the national convention, to nominate a Democrat to run for president, who is probably going to be Barack Obama. The second thing is to set up committees for a county convention. You have to have a platform committee, an arrangements committee, credentials committee, a rules committee. And then finally, the party has to have some long-term operations, so you have to have a county central committee. And so 4 people from each precinct need to be elected who will agree to come to monthly meetings and help the party raise money and just do the job of running a headquarters and getting Democrats elected to office in the fall. So basically just 3 purposes of a caucus tonight, and trying to find people who are willing to volunteer and participate in the one-time event like a county convention and the caucus tonight, and then people who are willing to work on the election in the fall.
After committees were assembled, supporters alike were given a chance to speak about which candidate they'd chosen and why.
So glad that everyone turned out tonight. I'm Kayla Johnson, and I'm honored to be a part of the tradition of the Iowa caucuses. And I share with you why I support Rick Perry as president. With all the damages that's been done in this country through the record debt, the downgraded credit that we have as a nation, the bailouts of Wall Street banks, and the spending spree in Washington, I believe, and how about you, that we need a conservative outsider that is consistent and has a consistent record, plus has bold plans to completely overhaul Washington, and that candidate's Rick Perry. Rick Perry has requested that you listen to his plan and see how it aligns with your values. You can take notes if you like. I think that's kind of helpful. Rick wants to serve his state and his country. How often do you hear that we want to serve? He wants to work with you and I to restore the economic health of this country and to free our children from the debt, yours and mine too, that we carry. The good news is that Rick Perry has the plans to do it. You see, Rick Perry's a doer. He knows how to get things done. Rick Perry grew up in a small town and on a farm like some of us here tonight. Rick is the son of a cotton farmer who has learned and earned good values. He knows what hard work is. He's very devoted to family. And he has an abundant faith that he's not afraid to talk about or to show his faith either. Rick was a 4-H member. He was very active, and he also became an Eagle Scout. He is and has been an avid hunter for nearly 60 years. So I think that covers that Second Amendment that everyone might be favoring of. He volunteered in 1972 to serve in the U.S. Air Force. Rick Perry helped to create the best environment in the country for jobs in Texas while he has been governor of Texas. His home state employers have created more than 1 million net new jobs, while the rest of America has lost over 2 million jobs. Rick has consistently stood up in defense of federalism, which is the vision that America was founded upon. I don't know about you, but I had to look up what federalism was. It's been a while since I've been in a history class. So I went to uslegal.com, and it's the basic principle of the American federalism is based on the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, which states, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between the federal government and various regional governments, which would be our state governments. They have their own legislative branch, executive branch, and judicial branch. States are empowered to pass, to enforce, and interpret laws as long as they do not violate the Constitution. Rick has proposed bold changes for you and I. One of them is a flat tax that closes the corporate loopholes. It will reduce business and personal income tax to 20% for all of us in this room. Most importantly, Perry's flat tax proposed plan would unleash years of economic growth if passed into law. Wouldn't that be great? Another proposed plan, take a lot of work, supported by a lot of people, I know you've all heard it, is the creation of a part-time Congress. Cutting their pay in half has been the slogan out there. They earn $174,000. That'd be $87,000 to cut that in half. There's 100 senators and 435 representatives for 535 total in the Congress. That's an 8-digit savings per year for all of our tax dollars. That's over $46.5 million a year, to be a little closer. Rick Perry is also the most pro-life governor in American history. He's also signed a defense of marriage, the act into law in his home state, and he defends traditional marriage between a man and a woman. He has the right record and he has the right vision for our country. But more than that, his experience in life makes him uniquely suited among the candidates that are competing for this office. These are the right visions and values to put this country back into the path of prosperity. If you want your country back, if you want an outsider whose leadership is based on conservative principles, Rick Perry is the one candidate who will work every day to make Washington less consequential in our lives by starting with the repeal of the Obamacare. Rick Perry's values are centered on some very basic beliefs, and I like them. You want to treat others as you would have them to treat you. Wow. Government should not do for others what they are equipped to do for themselves. All human life is sacred and it's made in the image of God. The answers to our challenge is less government and more freedom. And he believes faith in God and in one another can make America strong again. You can make a statement by voting your values tonight. And as Rick said to a concerned Iowan yesterday after his speech in Sioux City, Iowa, vote your heart. I ask that you please join me in voting for Rick Perry for president, and I thank you.
Hey, my name is Cheryl, as you know, and tonight I'm here to vote for Rick Santorum, a faithful husband, a homeschool dad to 7 children, and former U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania. It's tempting to believe this presidential nomination is simply political, that if we nominate a candidate who has raised the most money or attracted the most attention, we would defeat President Obama and our country would be great once again. But to believe this, we must turn our eyes from history. We must forget the nature of the problem we face and the conservative cause for which we are fighting. We must abandon the issues that have defined us and resign our movement to perpetual defeat, conceding to the pundits and the political class that all we need is a conservative to win the primary election and a moderate to win the general election. And once this politician is elected, we will stomp our feet and wonder why we keep losing. Some have suggested we stop talking about life, family, and biblical values. They argue that voters are more concerned with jobs, cutting spending, and limiting the size of government. Yet they cannot explain how to limit government without a moral code that binds us and constrains the passions of men. They have no answer for John Adams, who said, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." These moral issues are the basis for our Constitution and our American way of life. To stop fighting for these issues is to compromise the very inalienable rights endowed by our Creator that led our founders to revolution. Asking us to surrender these issues is asking us to stop being Americans. We do not need compromise. What we need is a warrior. There is one candidate in this race whose character is beyond reproach, whose achievements for our movement are many, and who can be trusted to lead us into the battle and win. As Glenn Beck has said, if I had to trust the reins of power with one person, and if there's one guy out there who is the next George Washington, the only guy that I could think of is Rick Santorum. Rick Santorum ended partial birth abortions in America. He forced the only vote on a federal marriage amendment. He ended a federal entitlement program. He was described as the Tea Party candidate before there was a Tea Party. He hasn't just fought, he's fought and won. This is why Rick Santorum is vilified by the radical left, and as it's been said, a man is known by his enemies. Rick Santorum has taken arrows for our cause, leading Rush Limbaugh to say that if Rick Santorum were elected president, I wouldn't have one doubt any day what he would be fighting for, not one. Rick Santorum has invested in Iowa, holding 350 public events and reaching all 99 counties 2 months ago. No one has outworked Rick Santorum. We have a privilege in Iowa to be the first in the nation. We don't have to settle. We have the duty to lead. Tonight, in rooms like this all across Iowa, we have the special opportunity to catapult a true conservative warrior to the top of the national polls and send a message to the rest of the country and the political class that we will not surrender. We have found our warrior, and Rick Santorum is the one we have been looking for. Join with us tonight and cast your vote for Rick Santorum.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Hi, my name is Justine Heffron. I have lived in Centerville. Our whole family has lived in Centerville for over 50 years. I feel very much a part of this town, and a big part of my life is belonging to the Democratic Party. And with the coming elections in 2012, in the fall, I heartily support Barack Obama. I feel that he has, or I know he has done as great a job as he could. And the economy is going to get better, and that's his wish. And even the unemployment is going to go down. And everything that he is for the American people. He is for the public, and he is for all citizens. And he really believes the depression that we've gone through has been hard on everybody. But eventually, it's going to get better. And I think Barack Obama is the man to do it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jim Sr., and I'm co-chairman of the Appanoose County Democrat Party. And I'm attending a caucus, the 2nd precinct in Centerville. We have been talking, of course, about Obama and all the accomplishments that he has made this year and last year and the year before last, and how important it is to re-elect President Obama to keep this country going in the right direction. Education is a really big thing for all the people. The Republicans call it Obamacare, but it's health care for the underprivileged, for the elderly, all kinds of education help, and the health care help is also for young people. And without getting into the specifics, it is a really good thing. And if something were to happen and that law were to be written off the books, there would be a lot of people who are receiving care today that would actually lose that care because it is a good thing for the people. Democrats tend to be social liberals, and I certainly am one too. We have to get going and get going hard to try to offset some of all the Republican caucus advertising and stuff they've had, and you hardly hear of Obama anymore except with complaints from the Republicans. So we're just reaffirming Obama and how we have to have him as our next president again.